Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoGaLe's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself, and welcome to another HoGaLe where you are joining us. Over here, of course, we have Lady G up here, and then, of course, down under, we have Dr. Lena Rodriguez. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. And before we even begin the show, we have some good news to share, because guess what? Lady G has told me that she's going to be able to join me and others for a visit in Santa Fe. Oh!
That is such good news.
It's
looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to being there. And thank you as well for delaying your operation as well. It's much appreciated. So I understand you've delayed until the 3rd of September. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, well, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful to have you there. And we're going to have a hoot. There's going to be 16 of us. Well, I have 17 if you include myself. Well, actually 18 if you include the local hosts. So it's going to be a big group, and some really interesting characters
I bet
are going to be there. So it's going to be a big laugh. So, ladies, are you ready to start the show? Shall we just get the bandwagon going?
Let's go.
All right. So in our esoteric airplane, just to give you a little idea, so we're going to be going to China, then we're going to be going to Russia, then we're going to be going to Texas, and then we're going to be reading on the San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Then, of course, Duck L'Orange. I think there's a couple on Duck L'Orange, and if we've got time, we're going to talk about Japan earthquakes, which I'm slightly nervous about because I'm going to be going there for my birthday. Yeah.
Right.
So,
have you been to Japan before, Hogarth?
No, never before, and I've always wanted to go.
Fabulous.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a great place.
I look forward to it. Okay, so the first question number 1, has come from Linda Joe, and it's quite a simple question. Thank you. It means that I could fit on the printout paper. What are the Chinese ships up to, apparently being monitored going through the English Channel en route to Russia? ? So apparently there's been Chinese vessels in the English Channel. What potentially were they up to, and is it connected with Russia?
Oh, okay. I want to know too.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Interessante. And of course, we'll have some Shakespeare as well.
Oh, goody.
And for the second question, Lena, in case you have it to hand, you might want to have your Russia deck to hand.
Oh, okay.
This is vintage for you and your cards, yeah.
Okay, that's the next question. So what are the Chinese doing in the English Channel?
Chinese doing.
Intriguing.
What are the Chinese doing in the English Channel?
Oh, well, I can kick off if you like.
Go for it.
Well, the first is the Knight of Wands here. This is them venturing out and venturing a bit further afield. There's quite a bold confidence in this. With the Fool card, this is breaking new territory for them. I mean, geographically, it's very weird, you know, to go from China through the English Channel. It's a show of strength, I think, in relation to Ukraine. That's the vibe I'm getting. It's sort of saying, don't forget Russia's not on its own. We're here. That sort of vibe. Here are the ships. Right. And the Magician. they're hoping this will be a game changer.
Wow.
But it is quite provocative and weird. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
agree.
strange. But with this magician card, they've certainly got a reason for doing it. It's not like, oh, we'll just try sailing this way. You know, it's quite deliberate, and it's about a show of strength. And it does involve Russia, I think.
Wow. Okay,
I'll
Lady
go
G,
into
what
those.
do you have?
Well, the center of it all, I have that they're trying to make an alliance with it. Going into it, the energy going into it is the takeaway, trying to get away with a little something when it comes to a new action. So they're proposing something new. The challenge is the strength of it, and holding out to difficult things. And I think this is Russia in that case. And again, they are proposing, to hold on to power. So I think it's an alliance with Russia. But underneath of it all, we have a tower moment. It's not, it doesn't look like it's going to go as well as they hope it will.
Yes, yeah, that is interesting. And it's particularly as well economically going forward because, of course, Russia and China are part of BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Plus, they call it BRICS Plus now. So, yeah, maybe it's some kind of consolidation and stuff around that. My cards are quite interesting, actually, quite interesting. 5 cards that I've pulled as usual, and 3 of them are major arcana, but you'll see how it's interesting how they interplay. So the first card out of the box here, or yeah, quite literally, is the Page of Swords. And of course, pages are all about what? Messages, yeah? Swords in particular deal with the intellect, deal with the mind, and it can literally deal with verbiage as well. So clearly, I mean, the way I can interpret this is the really simple way. China is trying to send a message, quite literally. They're making a statement. This is a statement move there with the Page of Swords. When we look in the obstacle position, it's really interesting because here we have the Queen of Pentacles. And this is very interesting. So for me, whenever I see this card, particularly when we're talking about global affairs, this for me always represents the electorate. So again, this is talking about the kind of image that China's trying to project, not only on the world stage, but I suspect as well to its people at home, because the Queen of Pentacles is known as a card of domesticity, but we're talking about international stuff. So this is, I mean, no one votes in China, of course, but it's kind of, it is also to send a message home, maybe to bolster up security at home, quite literally, because this card is dealing with that, and it's in the obstacle position. However, will they make much gains from this? I would say unlikely, yeah, because we've got the Hanged Man here. So I don't think it's moving the dial that much. I think this is a part of posturing and maybe trying to maintain the status quo, if anything, just to give a little reminder, because obviously, particularly with question number 2, we know Russia is under a bit of pressure, shall we say. So maybe this is the ally trying to maintain the status quo. If we look here, the next card is Temperance. So literally, it's a balancing act. Quite literally, it is a balancing act, because for China, it's a bit tricky because they want to be with their ally. But, China is very aware of its global status as one of the leading economies. It doesn't want to piss off too many people. So they need to make this kind of show, but you see they're trying to maintain a balance, a chemistry. But of course, look at this, the outcome card. We have the High Priestess. So of course, there's shenanigans there. We'll never fully know what they're up to. I mean, they could have been dropping spy, what to the bottom of the channel, and apparently they had something else flying over Europe. So as they were going through, they were probably dropping trails of micro cameras or, whatnot. Who knows? But they're up to something. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No.
No? All right, we'll move on to the next question. So, let me just do some quick shout outs. So someone here is saying, Salome is saying, it's really weird. Intimidation, ? I always thought China didn't want to be involved in the Russian stuff. They don't really want to be, but they strategically, they have to getting there. And someone here is saying, Val Bowen saying, my 3 oohs, HoGaLe's Global Astrology, at Lady G Tarot, and at Lena Down Under. Lovely. And let's see what else. And then someone saying here, love and light, HoGaLe, thank you. Debin BC. And then let's get on with the next question. So we've got more time for the ones at the end. All right. So now we're jumping in our esoteric aeroplane and we're flying to Russia. Surprise, surprise. So this is quite an interesting one. This is coming from Magical Lani. And she says, Russian news showed a meeting with Gerasimov briefing Putin. Bortnikov, Shoigu, and Belousov about Ukraine attacking Kursk. Shoigu and Belousov, never looked up. Putin and Bortinov glared at Gerasimov. What is Gerasimov's future, and will windows or balconies be involved? So it seems like the briefing didn't go well. Basically, what's his future? And then we'll see what the Bard has to say about Gerasimov.
Right. And I would just remind everyone, at least 4 years ago, I was saying about Shoigu could be the last man standing in Russia. Either Putin will try and get rid of him, or he could be the one to have the last say, if you get what I mean.
Interessante. All right. Gerasimov.
So what should we call this man? Mr. G.
Yeah, let's call him Mr. G. Yeah. Or Gary. Let's call him Gary.
Gary.
What's the future for Gary?
Oh.
And then we'll see what the Bard has to say about him and about the whole card game. You got some funny cards, have you? I'm sure they're very apt. Let's see.
Oh dear, we shouldn't laugh about these things. But here we go with this deck. So this is the Wheel of Fortune in this particular deck. So here they are, the conversation between them all, and the Wheel of Fortune representing time. I would suggest time may be up for Gary, because his very next card is the Tower.
Oh dear.
Dear, oh dear. And this is one of the few in this deck that has color, right? So look at this. This is the Ace of Pentacles. So right next to the Tower, and I think it's about money. Maybe he made off with some money or something like that. Outcome is the Death card.
Oh,
I mean, the man has the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, and the Death card. We're not talking picnics.
No.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Look at this.
That's dreadful. I mean, dreadful for him, given his boss, who his boss is. Oh my God. Are you done, Lena? Is that everything?
And what can you say after that?
No.
Really? Wow.
Gosh. Lady G, what do you have? Dreadful country.
Underneath of it all, we have the strongman attitude with things moving, that they are moving, and crossing it is an overflowing cup of toxicity, Yeah. And underneath of it all, things up in the air. So they're discussing a lot. At the center of it, this is a very painful time for him, mentally, emotionally, physically. So on one side of it, we have tried to get away with something, but has lost.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's lost. And the energy coming into it again is, yeah, swords in the back. It's looking good for him when it comes to now the long term, because it's going nowhere. And the challenge is the fishtails, the drama coming out. And the end point is they're going to try to neutralize the situation, shall we say. It's not looking good for him. I agree with you, Lena.
Just like grim. Like, yes. No one wants a reading like that when your boss is Putin.
No,
do you know what I mean? When your boss is President Putin, no one wants a reading like that. You just know you're finished. God, he's got to basically douse himself down and check all the doorknobs and the window shutters, because
and get a plane ticket to somewhere far away.
Yeah. Actually, for once, believe it or not, my cards are actually less dramatic, because normally I get the big drama cards, but they kind of tell their own story. So obviously this is all about the war effort. Yeah, as you can see here, it's the war effort. We've got the Knight of Swords. And this, of course, is Ukraine charging onto Russian soil, quite literally. So that's what they were talking about. What are we going to do about this incursion into Kursk and this resurgence, it seems to be, of Ukraine? If we look here, one of the things they probably also talked about, because it's in the obstacle position, we've got the Six of Pentacles. They're like, we're running out of money and our enemy is charging up against us. Yeah, this is probably why it was stony faced, you know, in there, because they're probably doing their calculations, and they're wondering how much. I always like, in this context for me, and look, the guy's wearing red for me, this is China and this is Russia begging down here. Yeah, because they are now, you know, people are kind of probably quite rightly saying they really are at the behest of China now, who's obviously played a strategic, very smart move. Just in case we weren't sure if they were worried about the money. Oh dear. So Four of Pentacles, but I think this is Gary as well, probably desperately trying to hold on to his position, knowing that if he doesn't, you know, he could be looking at some kind of gulag or some other horrible ending, particularly with the cards that the both of you got, you know, Death card, Ten of Swords, you know, horror show. No one wants these cards when your boss is Putin. So he's desperately trying to hold on to his position, conserve his position, probably plea bargaining and all of this kind of stuff. However, with the Three of Clubs, someone will be very happy if he's gone. Yeah, there'll be some kind of celebration. But I think this is really, really interesting, because who's going to be happy? Is it that he is moved on, and then he has a sense of relief because he's escaped with his life? Or is it that those around him might be happy to see the back of him? You see, it's quite complex, isn't it, the emotions in this one? And then particularly when we look at the outcome card, we've got the Two of Swords here. So they're agonizing. So this would suggest to me Putin is probably deciding, flipping coins, whether or not what type of poison to use, or which window is next and stuff like that. Either way, there's a bit of an agonizing decision here about what he's going to do about Gary's future. So I would say, based on that, and plus your cards, ladies, for Gary, it's really not looking good. These are dicey cards. You don't want these kind of cards when your boss is Putin. All right.
Well, Sharon Ann says in the comments, Gary should change his name to James Smith and move to Montana.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly, and do something like that. Shall we see what Shakespeare has to say about Gerasimov and just the meeting and stuff like that in general. And whose turn is it? Is it? I think it's Lady G. I think isn't it your turn? I think it's Lady.
Remember.
I think so. I think it's your turn. I think it's your turn. So this is the Bard's opinion on the situation that Gary finds himself in, or just about him and his character and the scenario. All right, tell me when to stop, and then.
And stop.
Oh, let's have a look. This is very interesting. Okay, this is what Shakespeare has to say. This is from Richard III. Earth gapes, hell burns, fields roar, saints pray to have him suddenly coveted away.
I think he agrees with us. He's dead meat.
I mean, what else can you say? I mean, look, I'll read it again, and I think, let me just see that. Coveted away, because it's spelled Coveyd. Yeah. So earth gapes, hell burns, fields roar. This is talking about the war, quite literally. Saints pray to have him suddenly conveyed away. The Bard never fails. I think we just leave it there on that one.
Yeah, that's totally. Oh, wow.
Again.
Wow. Wow, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. Wow, my goodness. Okay.
Oh, I hope he's got life insurance.
That's spooky, that, isn't it? That's
yeah.
We don't need to read. All we need to do is check in with the Bard.
It's quite astonishing how pertinent that it should be that. And we've never
very
had that
different
one
from all the others.
Yeah, very different from all the others. We've never had that one before, but it was absolutely bang on. Oh dear. Yeah, he's in trouble. Are we ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
All right. So question number 3. Now we're going to Texas. Oh, and there's almost 1,500 of you in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Thank you so much. All right. So this is coming from Nick Minks. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, boo hiss. Anyway, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered hospitals to gather data on the immigration status of patients, arguing Texas has had to foot the bill for the Biden administration's border policies. Will he be forced to back down from this? Quite interesting.
Wow. Yes. Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott, what's the situation?
Mind you, in the big picture, I think there's going to be a generational shift in Texas. Maybe not this election, but the next one,
Yeah. They're saying it's happening already, isn't it? That there's a lot of big generational change. And let's just give some shout outs. So thank you, Mark, so much for your donation. Much appreciated. Cheers. And thank you as well, Judy, as well, for your very generous donation. That's so kind. Thanks so much. All right. Abbott. So the question was, where is it? Oh gosh.
Well, he wants hospitals to report the status.
That's it, yeah.
Which should not be part of a health worker's job.
Yeah.
But then it is America.
Yeah, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered hospitals to gather data on the immigration status of patients, arguing Texas has had to foot the bill for the Biden administration's border policies. Will he be forced to back down from this? Interesting. Greg Abbott. Energy around Greg Abbott.
Well, I have to think about these.
Yeah, I could go then while you guys are doing
Go for it, Lady G.
So underneath of it, it's about the choices he's made in life and what he's been trying to construct and build. And what's crossing it is light on what he's trying to get away with, the takeaway of it. And underneath of all of it, this is going to be charging forward. People are, incensed because in the center, it's all about the MAGA Repugly Ugly drama. And on one side of it, we have democracy putting an end to this, wanting to put an end to this drama that he's doing, because the energy coming in, this is from the dark and delusional. With now they're talking about it, the message about what he's doing. The challenge is it's going to be an argument, a struggle with it, with an outcome. What's being birthed? Our laws, our rules, our regulations. So yeah, it looks like they are going to fight it and, say absolutely, this is not the way we do things in America. This is toxic.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Lena, what do you have?
Well, it starts with the Six of Pentacles, give and take with money. They are actually funded, basically, I presume, per capita on some level. He's milking this for an emotional response from his side of the fence. And then if you think of Texas as the Lone Star State, star here plus the victory card. So after the November victory, and in real life after inauguration and everything else, the legal system will come in to sort it out. It'll be out of his hands, is my hope. But we have to wait until after the election.
Wow. Okay. And I'll just here as well, we've just had, thank you so much, Dr. Liz, for your kind donation. And thank you to Pamela Jenkins for your kind donation as well. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, so my cards, quite interesting cards here. The usual form, quite dramatic ones. Well, definitely the first one. So if we look here, what's Greg Abbott doing? Will he succeed, etc.? But really, what's this all about? So if we look here, we got the Ten of Swords. So I think this is actually speaking several things. I think this is also, in a way, he's trying, in terms of making the statement about immigration, etc. It's almost like he's literally trying to put this kind of thing to death in a way. Do you know what I mean? It's all about, things on the border, the political statements that he wants to make. But this can also speak about maybe a certain level of betrayal people might feel as well. So I think it's quite complex here, but he's certainly trying to bring something to an end, isn't he, with a card like that? In the obstacle position, we actually have the Fool card here, so we can actually kind of consider it reversed. And the Fool is actually quite a multi-layered card. But when it's kind of reversed, it really can talk about folly, foolishness, immaturity, or plans that are ill thought out. So in a way, it's like a mad stab. He's literally having a mad stab at things. It's not necessarily going to work because it contravenes certain infrastructure that's already in place, but he wants to make the statement. I think that's the thing. He wants to look tough. If we look here, though, look at the middle card, which is all the other ones are hanging off, is the Ten of Wands. So it's going to be a lot. It might be more trouble than it's worth. And how much fruit this will bring is doubtful. But if there's one thing that he's guaranteed, he's certainly given health workers a lot more work and burden than they would normally have. So he's certainly not going to be winning any friends because he's literally just increased the workload for so many healthcare professionals and just for everyone. It's a massive inconvenience that he's caused. But when we see, what is it usually about? Look at this, so unambiguous. Look, Ace of Pentacles. Really, it's about the money. It's the posturing. And I think, you know, it's about the funding. It's about the money. And this could also be an effort as well to literally try and raise funds as well, particularly as Duc L'Orange, as we'll see later on in the questions, has been kind of struggling a bit of late. You know, he's needing some kind of wins, and his acolytes need to try and get some stuff going for him. However, how successful this new policy will be is doubtful, because we have the 5 of Cups here. So it suggests that it's not going to kind of work out fully. However, 2 Cups are standing up. So he might be able to move the dial a little bit. But I think with everything, he's just causing a big inconvenience to the whole system. And I don't think anyone's going to thank him for it. And people might just see it as folly at this stage, as a kind of a political move to try and create a bit of, you know, heat and hootenanny and stuff like that. Anything to add to that, ladies? Lovely. All right, I'll just click up here. Oh my goodness. So, well, we've got, thank you so much, Christopher, for your kind donation. Much appreciated. And of course, any donations you give to the show, they are shared with the ladies as well. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to support the show. And if you'd like to support Lady G or Lena individually, their details will be in the video description below. That will be put on after I've been out with my friend Tara today, so I didn't have time to do the bit. But after the video goes up, all in the video description. All right. Now, so that was Texas. And let's go, where are we now? Oh, now this is interesting. Now, this is a bit of Duc L'Orange here. Here we are. I think we've got a couple here with Duc L'Orange. So Nick Minks again. So apparently, she says, apparently, the orange felon, so Duc L'Orange, Trump, apparently Trump's campaign team have been hacked and details leaked, with suspicions saying Iran may have involvement. Is this another ploy, or is there any indication that damaging information might have been obtained? Interesting, eh?
Okay. In regards to Iran having access to information.
Yeah. Has Iran, if they are the perpetrators, if they are, have they obtained damaging information? I mean, they can't do any more damage than just Trump just standing there and just blathering on, I suppose. But hey, let's just see what the cards have to say.
Yeah. Oh dear, dear.
Trump. Do you have some funny cards?
Well, you'd have to think it's not just Iran here, too. You know, we've all seen over 7 and 8 years, Trump is very free and wild with, you know, state secrets. So there has been a theft of those secrets, very first card. Death in the sense of the old way of doing things. So if I could just take a moment, let's not pretend that all the big countries don't spy on each other, don't, you know, try and get this information every day of the week. They do. But this, under Trump, represents the death of the old way of keeping your secrets. You know, you'd have to normally do cyber spying or something, but not with him, because he's the mercenary. Pay me and I'll give it to you. You don't understand, you know, like the mercenary card here. I think this also speaks to Trump himself. I didn't do anything wrong. You know, I asked for 6 billion and they gave it to me. You know, like, what's the problem? It's like he doesn't get it still, that this might be a problem because he is a fool. The most simplistic interpretation of this card. Sometimes it just means a fool.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more of this with the Chariot. So I think it's not just Iran.
Wow. Wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, underneath of it all, we have the knight that wants to secure himself. And I think this has to do with Trump using America, using things to benefit himself, because crossing it, we have the theft, trying to get away with, again, another manipulation. And underneath of it all, an abuse of power, of course. So this is their, usually this is a card of distancing, but I see this as going a back road in the dark to get information. Because coming into it, we had this moving forward. What they have above it was they think that it's justified. The challenge is the new action, and the outcome is not liking the harvest. So again, they don't like what's coming down, and a lot of things are up in the air with this. So yeah, it looks like he gave them information, sold information, and again, but it doesn't look like they're going to really benefit from it in the end.
Interesting. So let's just have a click here as well. Thank you to Laura. Thank you so much for your kind donation, and thank you to Foggy as well for. Oh, Trump Bard. Oh, Foggy, you asked for Trump Bard every week. We've done.
We must do it sometime soon.
Yeah, it's true, but we've read on him, like the Bard has read on Trump a lot. Do you know what I mean? So otherwise it just becomes a bit repetitive. But anyway, but I understand. Thank you for your donation. I understand why you ask, but I think the Bard did an absolute humdinger on Gerasimov. I mean, there's just it doesn't bear any more examination, really. It was just extraordinary. All right, so like, first of all, before I read my cards, this is what I want to say. What can Iran steal that Trump has not already sold?
That was my dilemma with these cards.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really? I mean, unless they're going to be digging up graves and they want something very, very specific. But what scandal can you tell about Trump that has not already been told as well, in some kind of way? We are in strange political times because Trump is a man who does actions that would be career ending for 95% of politicians, and now it just becomes water off a duck's back. But anyway, what's the motivation? Whatever it was, they want to put him in the grave, quite literally. They want to end his campaign. Yeah, this is the card. The Four of Swords is about being wounded in battle or taken off the battlefield, peace, reflection, and it can also mean retirement or someone just ending it. So if they did steal something, they want it to be whatever they're stealing. I think the bigger target is probably America as a whole, because, as we know, Iran is no friend of America. There's no love lost between them there. So maybe there are just one or two juicy things yet that Trump has not stolen. But either way, it was to do some kind of fatal kind of move. Just in case we weren't sure, look at this. In the obstacle position, though, we have the Empress. So usually, as you know, this is my Russia card, but we're talking about Duck L'Orange here. So this must be America in this context. So whatever it is they've stolen is because they want to do some kind of damage or harm to America or wound it in some kind of way. That's my instinct. And of course, Trump is a soft target because he's loose and baggy anyway. Is, when he took those documents, They were just locked behind a toilet door. It's not like they were in a big safe or anything like that. So if they're going to get more, then he's a target for them. So if we see here, we got the Ace of Swords here, in a way kind of confirming that they identify him as an easier source or a soft touch to get the truths that they're looking for. And here we've got the Eight of Wands. So again, this is like traveling through the air or even electronic means, emails. So obviously it was a hack. Yeah, this is almost literally the hack here from overseas. Ultimately, though, how successful it will be, you know, because it's kind of like, for me, Duck Orange, he's like a car boot sale. Do you know what I mean? Everything is all out on the tarmac.
Yeah, it's not secret stuff.
Yeah, how many gems are really left? All the good stuff has been sold already. So I think they've had a good rummage and they've just realized, oh, it's just the equivalent of, you know, pants and socks, maybe one or two things. And we'll have to see. But how much extra, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it there. What else would you like to add to that, ladies?
Oh, I'd like to quote Salome here from the comments. We could make it up, a Trump bard, and it goes, out, you boring botch of orange. The moon is green cheese flowing from your ears. Thank you, Salome.
Well, do you know what? Since we've got a little bit of time, let's indulge our audience and let's see what the bard has to say about Duck L'Orange on this occasion. Eh? So, Lena, this will be you.
Yes.
And we'll see what the bard has to say about Duck L'Orange on this occasion with the hack.
Ready and stop.
All right, let's have a look. Oh, isn't this interesting? Okay, this is from Coriolanus. He says, your abilities are too infant-like for doing much alone. Isn't that? This is like the bard is just ridiculous. He's on absolute fire tonight. And it says, Coriolanus, your abilities are too infant-like for doing much alone. Wow.
There's never a truer statement.
It's just like, I don't need to say anything else. Two absolute out the ballpark hits from the bard. You know, like Lady G was saying, like we may as well just read bard quotes because he's just that's astonishing. My God, the bard's on absolute fire tonight. Anything to add to that, ladies, before we move to the next question? God, we just can't follow the bard. All right, so this is from Nick Minks, another Duck L'Orange, but from a different angle. She says, San Francisco's former mayor, Willie Brown, has dismissed as fiction the orange felons' story that they once endured a scary helicopter ride together. After a rather bad week, will more start to desert the brat who cried wolf far too many times? So basically, will more people desert Duck L'Orange? Let's see.
Yes. Oh.
Bless you.
Sorry. Yes, last night I went out to a gig to celebrate Bolivia's Independence Day. Wow. So they got out from under Spain in 1825, I think it was. So that was a good gig.
Excellent.
But I think the red wine might have been full of histamine or something. I'm sneezing.
Oh, bless. Lena, ever the activist. Let's see. He's having a bad week. Will more people desert Duck L'Orange? Let's see.
Oh, well.
God, the bard has just been sensational tonight.
Oh,
Oh my God.
mm.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh,
Goodness me.
oh God. Fascinating. Gosh. Okay, who's ready to go?
I can go if you like.
Go for it.
So here he is with the Fred Flintstone card, the Ace of Wands, calling his people, you know, ordering them to adore him. There he is as the King of Wands, convinced about his crowd sizes and everything else.
God.
But look, they're starting to leave. Now, they're literally walking out of rallies. The numbers are down. He's swirling around the drain. For me, the answer is a screaming yes. And that's not just wishful thinking. I think it's quite literal. Because people want to ally themselves with winners and not losers, which is what his whole shtick was about. And he's not winning anything.
Wow.
So they're getting out of Dodge in their own way.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, I'm going to use my Lenormand.
Aha.
So at the center of it, we have his friends, the Magatonians here. And they have turned their back on him and looking forward, and that's what's key. What's crossing it is looking a little bit more under the surface and things being cut when it comes to even perhaps some of his evil angel church
Wow.
friends.
In the church.
Yeah, because we have the fly in the ointment that's being revealed now and anchored in when it comes to the writing on the wall, what he's saying, the dark conversations that he continues to bring up with the challenge of his divergent path and just his, trying to work it all the time, being the narcissist that he is. So yeah, they're starting to say, yeah.
And with your last card, that makes me think of him literally trying to run the clock.
Yeah.
Quite literally, run the clock. Wow. So interesting. So I'll read my cards very soon, and I just want to say some more thank yous. We have 1,879 of you here with us this evening.
That is awesome.
That's almost a record there. That really is. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Who else do we have here? So who else is contributed in the chat? Oh, bless. Someone says, JC says, I'm late. Who are we talking about? Sorry, I don't. There's quite a few. You'll have to catch up. People in the chat will get you up to speed. But thank you for joining us. Anyway, it's a pleasure to have you here. And then someone says here, couldn't be happier with those cards for Putin. Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Well, Gary, what's his name? He's in trouble. Anyway, I'll read my cards here. So will more people start abandoning Trump? And it just seems like now I'm having a Lena diversion here. Indulge me. Remember what I said about his astrology? Do you remember I said when he goes into his Jupiter K2 dasher, it will be snip, snip, and there'll be all kinds of losses, and he's just going to have to struggle to hold on. K2 deals with weirdos, weird, strange things. So we did have, of course, the assassination attempt, which was done by someone strange. But there's another weirdo in the camp here who's called J.D. Vance. Yeah. So do you see? And it's what is, I think, with what the Democrats have said, particularly with the weird thing, what's been good is that the Democrats have started to speak in plain speech. They've not gone with all of these, like I think they finally listened to us, guys, don't you reckon? We said, speak to people in plain speech. saying that the Republicans are weird, people get it because they are, and it's true.
Yeah, it's a genius strategy. Yeah.
And I think what is, people who consider themselves cool don't want to be associated with that. And now Biden has obviously gracefully stepped aside. Now they're looking at Trump in a whole different light. So it's fascinating. Anyway, may cover the naughty bits for the algorithm. The lovers. Yeah. So what does this talk about? Partnerships, deals. These are all of his deals and stuff that he's done with people, the secret negotiations, the money laundering, or whatever he sold to anyone, basically, that could support him. So this is talking about his posse and his allies. If we look here, though, in the obstacle position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Now, this card is normally, giving you everything that you want. You're financially secure, but we can consider this in the opposite, in the reversal position, which can mean the prostitute for hire, basically. Yeah. Basically, this is what it is. This is also talking about the corrupt person, the person who can be bought, who you name your price and you've got them. So isn't that very interesting? So it shows that these relationships are completely transactional. None of them are deep friendships. They only want to be with Trump because they think he had the potential to win and give them what they want.
Yes.
But they're not stupid. They can see headlines. They are also reading the same stats and the same polls. And they can see the gas is coming out of the windbag. Yeah. Trump is feeling a little bit tied up at the moment. Feeling slightly hemmed in at Mar-a-Lago, all there, all by himself. I mean, just standing there with his rambling press conference that he gave, went all sideways, north, south, and upside down and back to front with all sorts of lies, little bits of greatest hits, and just him generally in a flap. Yeah, so he's feeling really tied up by, I would suspect, by Kamala and, Waltz. Yeah, really feeling tied up. Just in case we weren't sure this was about Duck L'Orange, here we have the shadow interpretation of the star card, which of course is what? The narcissist. It is dented his ego. I had more crowds. No one's reporting it correctly. I had more crowds even than Martin Luther King. Are you absolutely apeshit? I've never heard such utter BS. I mean, I'm going to say it's bollocks. Utter bollocks. I mean, more crowds than Martin Luther King.
And the thing is, it's sounding stupid to everyone's ears. We were always outraged by this, whereas his people were going, well, yeah, it was a big crowd. Now everyone's looking at the pictures and going, oh.
Yeah, everyone's going like, nah, love, I don't think so. I think even the rusted on ones are old enough to remember, oh, actually, I remember that Martin Luther King. So they said Trump had at his inauguration about 50,000. And they said Martin Luther King had about 250,000. So just not even in the ballpark. And here he is going back to childhood nostalgia. How many times do we get the Six of Cups up?
Yes.
So basically, Duck L'Orange is wanted to, suck his thumb. I think he just wants to, I think he wants this all to be over. I genuinely feel he's like, why on earth did I do this? What's it all for? He's wanting to go back to the past with his old greatest hits, but it's the same old, and it's getting tired. And unless he does something dramatic or there's a great turn of events, the wind is coming out the windbag, isn't it? So we have to see. Don't underestimate Duck L'Orange, but those are not great cards for him, are they?
No. And in the comments, someone describes Vance as the new Ken doll. I love that. That's so...
My favorite Trump faux pas is the one where he's saying that they stole the presidency from Biden and Biden wants it back.
That's a good one.
definitely does not want to debate Kamala. He wants to go back to Biden now.
It's just, it's so extraordinary, isn't it? Because it's now reached a stage where, like I say, it's beyond parody. It's beyond parody. You don't have to make anything up. You don't have to say anything funny. You just repeat the words. And it's just laughably absurd. You know, for Trump to say, I got more at my inauguration than Martin Luther King. Like even the most rusted on would have scoffed or choked on their beer at something so patently absurd. And it's just this kind of ridiculousness. And it seems at last that maybe the media is actually starting to do its job. And as you know, as we've said on this channel before, if they want rid of Trump, ignore him. Look what happens when he doesn't get a headline for a couple of weeks.
Implosion.
Implosion. That's all I have to do is just ignore him, and he will just completely, he's like the Wicked Witch of the West that's had a bucket of water thrown on him. Do you know what I mean? I'm melting.
Yeah, he's exposed now, as he's never been exposed, because the media protected him to such an extent.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that needs to stop. So let's see, there's still a ways to go yet, folks, so let's not get too excited. There's a lot that can happen. They say a week is a long time in politics. It really is, especially of late. But I think if Kamala keeps up the momentum and her chart is strong, you guys may remember, again, another tangent with astrology, but you remember, I'd have to dig it out, but we did a HoGaLe's ages ago and everyone was asking about Kamala's career. And do you remember I said she's going to have some kind of rise? She's going to have some kind of rise, some kind of expansion. I said it may come at Biden's expense. So I hope Biden doesn't, leave Earth, and he didn't, thankfully. But her chart has a lot of destiny. And for me, when it comes to reading charts, destiny matters more than luck. Now, what that destiny will fully be remains to be seen, but it is involved with Rahu. So to a certain extent, America's destiny and Kamala's destiny is intertwined, for good, bad, or ugly. It is there. Astrologically, it's there. So we'll have to see.
Astrology is about timing, and that's what this is all about. Timing. So if a year ago, for whatever reason, Biden had talked about this or something, I don't think she'd necessarily have this immense wave she's having now. It's just the timing was perfect.
Absolutely.
But take nothing for granted. And I keep hearing people checking their registration and finding out the information's not correct. Double check your voter registration. Encourage everyone to do that.
Absolutely. And remember as well, the GOP are going to try to cheat. Be under no doubt. Every gerrymandering, doodah, and whatever.
They're going to lose boxes of votes. They're going to rip out mailboxes. How come DeJoy is still there for a second election? That's disgusting.
It's just beyond, isn't it? It's just beyond. But I think there's something like, can't he? The only way that he can be gotten rid of, isn't it by committee or something like that?
Yes, well, talk to the committee. It should have been done 3 years ago, but anyway.
Yeah, probably.
At least make sure he is being overseen in a vigilant fashion,
Indeed. Well, can you believe it, ladies? The time has gone in an absolute flash. I think we leave it there. The Bard, of course, stole the show. Just
totally
astonishing. I just cannot believe, just absolute corkers, so succinct, so on point. I want to say a thank you as well to everyone who donated. So a few more kind of have come in. So
you guys are
Yahira, thank you so much. And Rosie as well, thank you so much. So many of you donated this evening, and it will of course be shared with the ladies as well. Final thoughts, ladies, before we go. Lady G, any thoughts?
Yeah, I just hope everybody has a wonderful week, and, you know, take a chill pill, take a little time for yourself and de-stress.
Yeah, good advice. Because now it's 80 something days. So pace yourselves so you're in tip top condition for the next 3 months. Awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I would say, what I would say is beware the sugar highs. You know, it's still a long way to go. And there are many, many things that can happen. Remember, like I said, with Uranus is in sidereal Taurus, and he will be on the star Algol again on the election, literally on the 5th and 6th of November. So still, there's still many more surprises there. So keep putting one foot in front of the other. But at least there is cause for optimism. But, you know, don't underestimate Duck L'Orange as well. You know, we got to keep a very, very close eye on him. But looking good so far. But we will leave it there. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. We had over 1,940 something. It was almost 2,000 of you joining us live. So much appreciated. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Press the bell notification to support the channel, and we will leave it there, and we will see you next week.
And Chuck, I would like to say thank you for your quote on Theodore Adorno. That's just between him and me. We know this.
Oh, lovely. All right. Bye-bye for now, folks, everyone, and we will see you soon. All right. Bye-bye for now. Cheers.
Bye.